Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ZakIsCinema. Yes, welcome back to just the place that is the most welcoming place to talk about movies. As everybody knows here, yes, ZakIsCinema is just for all those people out there that just at the end of the year, towards the beginning of a new year, just get this chill down their spine, maybe a pit in their stomach and aches near their heart, because you know that January and the couple weeks into February is just the dumping ground for the cinematic experience, where studios just throw their shit out into movie theaters, and you just every year you're like, oh, I gotta go through that again, and then you still show up. I'm there. The first horror release of the year, I'm still there. I'm not afraid to admit it. Hopefully you're not afraid to admit it, because if you hate these first couple months just because of the scattered releases and low quality, well, buddy, you have found the right place. So welcome here at ZakIsCinema. We're very happy to have you here. But yes, today we're going to be doing another movie review. So for today's review, we're going to be talking about The Monkey that came out in 2025. Let's jump into it here. So for The Monkey, for writer and director, we got our boy Osgood Perkins. We just did a review for The Black Coat's Daughter just a couple days ago, one of his earlier films. So check out that if you're interested. But he's here writing and directing The Monkey, which is based off a short story from Stephen King. Starring in The Monkey, we got Theo James, Tatiana Maslany. Sorry, Miss Maslany, I think I got your name right there. But we got Christian Convery and Colin O'Brien in the movie. So the plot for The Monkey follows the story of when two twin brothers find a mysterious wind-up monkey. A series of outrageous deaths tear through their family. 25 years later, the monkey begins a new killing spree, forcing the estranged brothers to confront this cursed monkey. As we hop into the review, I was definitely really looking forward to The Monkey here. Not only because it was based off a short by Stephen King, but it just looked like a fun, over-the-top but gory and violent horror movie, which are some of my all-time favorite movies. And we also had Osgood Perkins directing this movie and writing it. Big fan of Longlegs that came out last year. And then checking out The Black Coat's Daughter, I really enjoyed that movie as well. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Another Mr. Osgood Perkins movie coming out. I'm excited. Like I said, based off the trailer, it just seemed like a mix of Evil Dead, It, and like Final Destination kind of vibes based off the description. So the trailers looked really interesting. The tone, the gore, just everything I was seeing made me super excited for this movie. So that's why I went to check it out. Yeah, let's hop into the review section of the video here, starting with the positives or the things that I just really enjoyed about The Monkeys. First, this is right off the bat, definitely, for the most part, we'll get into it, of course, but it's definitely very fun and such a unique movie. Everything that the trailer and marketing made me believe this movie was going to be was definitely what this movie was. So if you're interested in this movie based off its marketing or its premise, you're definitely going to get that. The movie definitely delivers. It's full of the over-the-top characters, over-the-top story, and over-the-top gore and horror elements. Everything just felt over-the-top, very high energy, and a lot of fun throughout the entire movies. And I think that's one of the things that really stood out to me is the whole over-the-top vibe. I think it really stuck with me just because the couple of Osgood Perkins movies I've seen are very serious, dark movies. So hopping into this one, especially just rewatching Longlegs as well, it was just like a huge tonal whiplash from what I was expecting. I mean, I kind of knew based off the marketing here, but still, just it felt like a completely new transition, a new genre almost for Osgood Perkins here, and that over-the-top vibe I really dug and connected with. I think all the kills are so wacky, over-the-top, and it fits its vibe. It felt like a mix to me of like Evil Dead with Final Destination type kills, so you get that humor, over-the-top nature in some of those Evil Dead movies, and then the way the kills play out once the monkey starts drumming on his little drum, they play out almost like Final Destination destination kills. The whole time you're just kind of looking around the environment in the movie around our characters to see what this monkey is going to set off, and gonna just try and guess what in the environment is going to cause death to all these characters and all the surrounding characters. So just like with the Final Destination movies, it works well because you're always just so in it, just trying to figure out maybe what the next kill is going to be. So whenever the monkey's in this movie, you know stuff's about to go down, and you're always kind of looking out for danger for all our characters, and just that over-the-top fun nature just kept this movie going for me. Speaking of that over-the-top nature, I think Osgood Perkins here does a fantastic job with his writing and directing with that over-the-top nature. That's why I said it was pretty unique, is because it has this such unique feel where all the characters are written so dramatically over the top, but everyone plays it deadpan serious. So it's self-aware at the same time. Like, it's not a movie that is just horribly written and the director doesn't know that, so that's why everyone's taking it seriously. Maybe like The Happening with M. Night there, but with this movie, I feel like all the characters know what movie they're in. The director knows what movie that he's making, but he still has everybody play it so super serious. It just adds some more humor, some more fun, lighthearted elements throughout the movie when you have all of your characters doing and saying all these ridiculous things but taking it so seriously. It works for the humor, it works for that high energy, just unique feel that they're going for. So I definitely really enjoyed that aspect in the movie. I think this also plays into and also helps with the humor in the movie, where it feels like scenes go on too long, much longer than maybe a traditional movie might play out their scenes. But normally that would be a negative, but I think this over-the-top nature that they're going for works really well. And then in some of these scenes here, when the scenes are going on very long, where you're expecting a cut, but they just keep going. They keep going with the bit. They keep going with the kill or set piece. I think it works really well, specifically with the humor. When the jokes are landing, they keep them going. So normally in comedy, that's very hard, because if you get a joke or a bit that doesn't work and they keep trying to play it off, almost like the goat scenes in Thor: Love and Thunder, that wasn't funny the first time, it wasn't funny the 30th time. But with this movie, luckily, a lot of the humor and just deadpan serious humor in a crazy over-the-top movie works so well for me that when they had bits going and kept going with it, it almost made it funnier. For example, there's this great scene in a church with a priest at a funeral, and it just kept going and going and going. It was this priest that looked like a 20-year-old stoner guy, but he's dressed up in the priest outfit and everything, hosting this funeral for a character that we just lost. And his line delivery, what he's talking about, he doesn't know how to run this funeral, doesn't know how to be compassionate towards everybody there for this person who passed away, and he just keeps going, saying things that he thinks is helpful but is super insensitive. So it was funny in that scene, and it works well, luckily, in a lot of these scenes. I was thinking the humor was hitting here for the most part. Next here, I think the cinematography is fantastic, and I think that's a given with any Perkins movies here. He uses those wide-angle lenses that always creates a unique style, very similar to Kubrick, albeit, but still, he uses these wide-angle lenses, and I feel like a lot of filmmakers nowadays maybe don't do it throughout their whole movie, but it's a Perkins movie when you get that similar style, very, very similar to what he did with Longlegs. I think it works here. Again, just kind of creates this almost alternate world that we're in, watching these characters play out like it's like our world, but that camera angle almost helps create a new reality, a new dimension almost. I said it in the title here. We're going to be diving into some spoilers, more in my negative section, just because I want to discuss some of those things that were bugging me. But some things here in the positive, I'll get kind of spoilery. Yes, the monkey here is another big positive for me. It's really just a vessel for a spirit orchestrating all of this chaos, but the monkey in and of itself is so cool and interesting looking. He looks like a creepy wind-up toy that your grandma or a lost relative might have just buried in its closet. It didn't seem like one of those vessels that was just so over the top that you wouldn't stumble across something like this, like the characters do in this movie. With this, I think the design and everything and how they come about it works really well with this just old creepy toy that looks like a kid's toy, but it looks so unsettling at the same time. It's simple, but I think it works for the movie. It felt like a similar plot device with the Necronomicon in Evil Dead, that once you start using it, the chaos ensues and death ensues upon all of our characters and everyone in the movie once you start messing around with it. It was interesting using that wind-up toy as part of its lore. It's like a Necronomicon if it was a toy, a wind-up toy. That's pretty much what it is, so it fits for the movie that they're going for here. And I think overall here, I just had a fun time with this movie. I think the pacing's fantastic. It's full of awesome kills, funny characters. It's pretty self-aware, and the premise is funny and over the top, but also takes itself very serious in some more creepy scenes as well. And in some of the deaths, like some of the deaths are played for like over the top laughs, but they still impact the story. They still impact our characters, so those deaths are still taken seriously. And then there's some creepy scenes with the monkey, like in the shadows, some close up. It takes itself serious when it needs to, but everything is just so over the top that it's just like a thrill ride pretty much from start to end here. I think it combines all my favorite tropes in horror. You know, you got the creepy possessed objects, the over the top kills, and fun premise that keeps the pacing moving pretty quickly here. Lastly here, I think this movie, in the best way possible, felt like a fantastic version of an R-rated Goosebumps episode. I think especially in the beginning with the kids before it goes on this like 25 year time jump. It felt like if maybe if like Tim Burton directed a serious Goosebumps episodes with the kids finding this creepy monkey and chaos ensues. I was having a lot of fun with it, especially in that first half when the kids find it and are going through the initial story in the beginning. It felt like a mix of, like I said, like Evil Dead, Final Destination, but also just a fun Goosebumps episode that was rated R for adults. Definitely a lot to enjoy here, and overall I would say I definitely enjoyed it. But let's hop into our negatives here, or the things that I just didn't like too much about this movie. First, I did not like the voiceover narration. You get it a lot in the beginnings. A lot of the beginning scenes, especially when their kid, has voiceover narration from one of our main characters, just like scattered throughout the first like hour of the movie. And then after that first hour, the back half, about halfway through, the movie completely forgets about it, which is weird, and they don't do the voiceover narration. So I don't know, even when they were doing the narration, sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't, but in this movie, it was pretty much just telling us exactly what the character was thinking and feeling. And it's like, okay, like I get you're going for this like goofy kind of movie, but that was just so unnecessary and so unneeded. I think Osgood, if I could tell him something right now, if he's watching ZakIsCinema, I'd be like, I think you need to work on some of these exposition and narration scenes. There's a big issue with that in Longlegs at the end that takes a lot of the impact away at the ending there. But like these narration scenes similar to that, just take away from scenes. It didn't need to be there. I mean, show us, don't tell us. And that's how I felt. And it seemed kind of stupid that they didn't carry that throughout either. But as we get into more spoilery stuff here, unfortunately this movie does lose a lot of steam as it goes on. Like I mentioned, I absolutely love the start when they're kids and these two brothers that don't have a good relationship and are like fighting over this monkey. So I liked a lot of that as they're trying to figure it out, where it felt very reminiscent of an R-rated Goosebumps episode, but it loses a lot of steam for me in the back half. But that first half, I'm like, oh my god, I think this is going to be like one of the best movies I've seen in a while. So I think that's why the shift after the 25-year time jump just really kind of hurt the movie for me a lot. But when the kids are older here, like I said, there's about a 25 year time jump. You catch up with I believe Hal and Petey or Pete. Pete's like the evil young, they're twins, so the evil twin, the guy that just treats his brother like a piece of shit. Then you got Hal, who is much nicer but a bit of a pushover. But they introduce them much later on, and Hal in this movie has always of a sudden a son and just this marriage or relationship that didn't end well, and he can only visit his son like once a year. So it was just a hard shift. Like, they set up so many interesting things with the brother and that family dynamic, and then you shift here, and then we find out Hal, the sweet kid that was a bit of a pushover, is now like a piece of shit dad who doesn't like visit his son. So they introduced this son thing, and I don't know, I just never felt the father and son relationship all too much throughout. It felt a little cliche, like almost like the worst parts of Dexter New Blood with Dexter and Harrison, just the son being like, I hate you, dad, you were never there for me, and then the dad's like, well, I'm trying now, son. I just gotta find this monkey. And so it's just like, I get it, like the son doesn't like his dad's trying to prove it to him. It just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me all that much, mostly because I didn't really care about the son, and it just felt like it came out of nowhere after this time jump. And they set up things where, like with the monkey and with the twin brother, I thought they were going to be focusing on that later on, and they kind of do here, but a lot of the focus and attention of the movie shift to now Hal, older, trying to repair and rekindle his relationship with his son, but it just ignores everything that was set up in the beginning. I don't know, I think I would have liked to seen more of the movie just stick with the brother dynamic relationship, because I think that's what they set up in the beginning, and I think introducing this whole other aspect just felt unnecessary to me. There was really no point, and it really didn't add a whole lot to the movie. I don't know, maybe that's just me because I didn't feel very invested in it. I imagine if I felt invested in it or like the son character a little bit more, I wouldn't have mind that choice all too much, but just didn't work for me. You know, they set up some interesting things here with the estranged older I keep saying older twin brother Petey here, but they wrap things up in the third act that felt so hand-fisted and anticlimactic. They set it up where, you know, the brothers are estranged, they're separated here, don't have a relationship because of the monkey. They thought they got rid of the monkey when they were younger, but turns out the Petey, the evil brother, found the monkey, got it out of the well that they threw it down, and has like set up this like kill room with like a monkey seance, and he's like killing people all around his other brother here, trying to get his brother, trying to kill his brother, because his brother used the monkey to try and kill him when he was younger, but accidentally ended up killing his mom, so he's trying to get back at him. So they set up things interestingly enough, and then you get to the time jump, and then it's like him trying to deal with a relationship with his other son, and it's like, well, like let's focus on what you set up here with the brother. I think the brother stuff, even towards the end, just doesn't work for me. The brother character started getting way too over the top. Petey's character did. It was even more over the top than the over the top nature the movie was going for. He just plays it so goofy. He's just talking about his evil plan the whole time, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense, and I couldn't really understand what his end goal of all of this really was. I mean, he seems so crazy and unhinged. You would think if he just wanted to kill his brother, he just would have done it. Like, they haven't talked in like 20 years. I don't know. You think he would have just done that, but they set up a great chance for the brothers to kind of rekindle their relationship towards the end of the movie, but then right after the brother dies, the monkey slaps his drum, brother dies, and then the Hal and his son drive off. I get it. It was a funny scene. It was a cool scene because it was a callback to when he imagined dropping a bowling ball on his brother's head when they were younger, and then the brother here gets killed when the monkey hits his drum, and then the cannonball like shoots at him, takes his head off with that same bowling ball. So it was funny, but then I think that was one of the scenes where they went for the joke instead of rekindling this relationship and made it a little bit more satisfying. Maybe I don't even mind if the brother died, because I think it was a funny scene and it kind of fit for the movie maybe, but the way the brothers rekindle their relationship at the end is so stupid to me. The brother or Hal and his son find Petey. They're like, dude, what are you doing? You got to stop using this monkey, bro. You're losing your mind, dude. Then Petey, the evil brother, starts telling him why he's doing this, because you killed my mother. And then Hal's like, well, she was my mother too. And then Petey's like, oh, yeah, I didn't really think about that. Like, playing off the joke that he's just a piece of shit brother that looks down on his brother, doesn't even consider him family. So the whole motivation was him wanting to kill him because he thought he killed his mom, but like forgetting that they're brothers and that he lost his mom as well. So all of a sudden Petey like gains this new understanding of Hal, his twin brother here, and like forgives them. They like handshake and they rekindle for a second, and then bam, he dies. So it was a cool callback scene when he dies. It was a funny scene, got a big laugh out of my theater, but it just felt so stupid at the end of the day. Like, it really just kind of felt like, oh, that was it. Like see, that's what I'm kind of saying with the whole brothers plan really didn't make a lot of sense. Like, he's been trying to do this for like 10, 15 years or something, and you forgot you were his brother, and all it took was him reminding you, and now you're good. That's it. Okay, like, fine. Okay. I think the movie would have worked better if they focused on the brothers, like, trying to rekindle a relationship and then fighting up against the monkey, trying to stop it together, instead of now shifting away from that and being like, all right, Hal's got to focus on his son here because he's been away from his son. He has barely any visitation rights with his son. And I'm like, well, I don't care about the son. You set up something with the brothers here, and you're kind of abandoning it. There's parts in the ending where the monkey starts causing chaos in this really cool scene where he's doing like a drum roll, and then like all this shit around them. Like, there's a plane crashing down, buildings, cars on fire, like everything. And that's where like the movie ends. Like, I thought it was like setting up something more. I knew the movie was coming to an end, but then when it introduced that, I'm like, holy shit, like this is wild right now. I feel like we're at the end. Like, are you sure you want to introduce this? But like, the brother dies with the bowling ball, then he takes his son away, and they start like driving, seeing all the chaos around, and then they still got the monkey in the back seat. So you still got the monkey issue. The monkey's still a thing. And then it's not even like he really connected or rekindled with his son. They're just a little bit better now, because now his son has seen what the monkey can do, realizes more about his father's childhood. So it's like, okay, he's gained a new understanding for his dad here, but like, okay. So that's not really resolved. The visitation rights aren't really resolved. Like, he's still not going to be able to see his son when they get back, and this would be another reason why, after everything you just took your son on, like, I could see where they wouldn't want any visitation rights for you, buddy Hal here, okay? And then they're just driving off, and then the movie just kind of ends. It's been a couple days since I've seen it, and it's not really working for me here, because I feel like nothing gets fully resolved. Like, he makes up with his brother, and then he dies, so it's like, okay, like, that was funny, but like, I don't know, I think you set up more. And then his son starts acting like he likes him all of a sudden, but they never really resolve stuff. And then the monkey, they don't resolve that, learn how to manage it, how to stop it, how to get rid of it. And then the movie just kind of ends with like their whole town on fire. I don't know, like, I think you could have really resolved everything if you cut out that son plot line, focused more on the brothers, and could have had like a solid movie here that wrapped everything up. Now, I know these types of movies don't need like a complete like journey, character explorations of siblings and sibling dynamics, but still, it was set up and just never felt properly paid off to me. Overall, I think this movie felt very similar to my experience with Hard Eyes almost. Like, so many things I loved, but at the same time, so many things that just kind of left me disappointed, or that I was wishing was a little bit different. Like I said, overall, I had more fun with this compared to Hard Eyes, and I think the premise still works well, even when I wasn't invested towards the end. Like, I was still in it. I was still having a good time. I was still glad I was there. Just after sitting on it, thinking about it, after I got out, I'm like, man, I wish some of these things were a little bit different, and it didn't seem like they could properly land the ship towards the end, which is so disappointing because of how well everything was totally set up in the beginning. But for my rating for this movie, I have it as, I would look to own this movie because I'm very curious to rewatch it, see how, despite my negative or mixed things about it, like I said, I still enjoyed it, so I imagine I'll like it on rewatch as well. I would buy it at a discount to add to my collection, so I will be looking to add it. I will be looking to own it, but definitely hesitant to pay that full price, if that makes sense. You guys have my thoughts here. I'm very curious. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the monkey. Did you see it? What did you think about it? What did you think about the ending? Did all that stuff work for you, or were you kind of mixed negative on it like I was? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the monkey. Any spoilers down below? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. But yes, thank you again so much for watching ZakIsCinema here. It really means a lot. So thanks for watching and sticking towards the end here. But look forward to more ZakIsCinema coming very soon.